We know that significant figures are the numerical part of a correctly recorded measurement where the last digit is uncertain. Not only will you need to correctly record measurements, but you will also have to identify the number of significant figures in measurements that have been recorded, either by you or someone else. There are 4 rules for identifying the number of significant figures in a measurement. Rule 1 is the simplest. Non-zero digits are always significant. For example, the measurement 345.98 centimeters has 5 significant figures. By the way, the 8 in the hundredths place is the uncertain digit. 576 milliliters has 3 significant figures, with the 6 in the ones place as the uncertain digit. The rest of the rules have to do with zeros. Rule 2 states that zeros in between 2 non-zero digits are significant. For example, 405 kilometers has 3 significant figures. 1.009 centimeters has 4 significant figures. Rule 3 states that zeros before the first non-zero digit are never significant. For example, 0.902 liters has 3 significant figures. 0.0048 kilometers has 2 significant figures. None of the leading zeros count. Rule 4 has to do with trailing zeros, or zeros at the end of a measurement. If a measurement has an expressly written decimal point, then the trailing zeros are significant. If a measurement is a whole number and a decimal point is not expressly written, then trailing zeros are not significant. They are known as ambiguous. This is the rule that confuses most students. When a number ends in zeros, look for a decimal point. If you see one, the trailing zeros count. If you don't see one, the trailing zeros don't count. This rule only applies to trailing zeros. Let's look at some examples of trailing zeros with and without decimal points. 10 milliliters without a decimal point expressly written only has 1 significant figure, since the trailing zero doesn't count. 100 milliliters without an expressly written decimal point only has 1 significant figure, since the trailing zeros don't count. 10 milliliters with an expressly written decimal point has 2 significant figures, since the trailing zero now counts. 10.0 milliliters has 3 significant figures. Since there is an expressly written decimal point, the trailing zeros count.